Welcome to this BrightLearn.ai update for Monday, December 8th, 2025. I'm Mike Adams. I'm the developer of BrightLearn.ai, which of course is our book creation site where creators can have all kinds of fun and generate amazing books. And I've got a huge announcement of a new feature that we just rolled out over the weekend. I want to share that with you. And it's already getting incredible positive feedback from the creators that are using it. So remember, our goal with BrightLearn.ai is to help creators create books in the smallest amount of time, but the highest quality books that reflect their ideas and their philosophies, to do the book research for them across many, tens of millions of documents, if not more, and to do the writing, research, the writing, the fact-checking, the editing, and the packaging of those books within minutes based on what the user wants. And that's what we've built, and it's working extremely well. And then we also want to provide a resource for all the people in the world to have access to knowledge, especially censored knowledge, completely free of charge and in multiple languages, because that's what's coming next as well. And so even though this project is only a couple of weeks old at this point, 3 weeks or less, we now have 441 books published. We've got 23,000 reads and over 34,000 downloads of the PDF files. And we're seeing 50 plus books created each day. And I have not yet made this available to the general public. So this is still sort of in the pilot mode. It's only for token holders at the moment. And token holders are our donating partner, Health Ranger Store, which I'm the founder of also, but that's a commercial entity, has donated the funding to cover all the compute for this project. So Health Ranger Store gave out a lot of tokens to customers, and those tokens are currently what people are using to generate the books. But we will open up a free tier at some point soon and open it up to everybody to use. But we have to work out all the issues and details and efficiencies and bugs and all that stuff first. And that's the phase that we're in right now. So here's what we just added. We added a new architectural planner to every book before it's written. So let me back up and explain why this was necessary. The books that have so far been created are very strong, very good. We've had a tremendous amount of positive feedback. However, they were written in parallel. So every section of every chapter was written at the same time by a different worker. When I say worker, I mean an AI worker. And these AI workers have access to all of our hundreds of millions of pages of documents and indexed documents and all of our research and our own AI engine, which took 2 years to build based on a massive amount of data curation and training, etc. But each worker has access to all that knowledge, the context, and the engine. But because every worker is writing its own subchapter at the same time, it doesn't know what the chapter said before or what the next subchapter says after. So just to be clear, a chapter is broken down into subchapters. Typically, let's say 9 or 10 subchapters per chapter. And so each subchapter is written at the same time. So if your book has, let's say, 90 subchapters, then when my engine is writing your book, it actually spawns 90 workers. And they're all working in unison, and that's why they can write the entire book in about 4 or 5 minutes. But they don't have access, like I said, to the chapters around them. So sometimes there's a lack of narrative flow. There's a lack of, there's repetitiveness sometimes from one subchapter to the next. And there's really just hasn't been great continuity throughout the books. Even though the books have been very comprehensive, they've lacked continuity because it's like reading, 90 separate articles, basically. So what I added over the weekend is an architectural planner. And what this planner does is the planner is kind of like the manager of all the workers let's say 90 workers. So this architect is the brains of the joint, okay? This architect knows what you want for the book because it knows your prompt. It knows all the research knowledge, and it's got all the index documents to cite them accurately with zero hallucinations. So it's got access, and also access to the core AI engine, which is our Brighteon.ai engine. So what the architect does is it takes a look at the entire scope of the book, the table of contents, the chapters and subchapters, the prompt, everything else I just said. And then it designs a plan for the book, and it lays out instructions for each worker. So it would create 90 sets of instructions that remove repetitiveness and that provide a really strong consistency and flow and tone throughout the book, so that one subchapter easily segues into the next subchapter. So this architect layer adds about 16 minutes to the book processing time. It is a significant amount of compute, and it's a significant number of tokens that are going into that. But for the extra wait time of 16 minutes, it makes the books unbelievably great. So they went from being good to now great. And if you check out the books that were created from, let's say from late Saturday night forward, you'll find that they're extraordinary. So now when you read the book text or you see the PDFs, etc., they are just truly amazing. And they're written, the way they are written, they seem very professionally constructed and planned. And I'm not saying that they don't have, some kind of glitches here and there. I'm sure they do. But overall, they are really extraordinary. And each subchapter contains citations or references of specific documents, if they were used for the subchapter. And you're going to find the writing is just extraordinary. And it's also aligned with our worldview of things like having a pro-human, pro-liberty worldview, truth and transparency, etc. Promoting sustainable, natural health, living, all kinds of ideas like that, decentralization. These are all part of all the books. And in addition to that, we also added intelligent table handling. So previously, when there were tables that were created by the workers, those tables did not show up as an actual table on the screen. It just looked like a bunch of characters. Now they are created as actual viewable tables, including in the PDF. So, and there are a lot of other improvements as well. We've added, a few thousand more sources over the weekend. Additional articles and additional spoken word podcasts, not just for myself, but others, like, for example, Aaron Day. All of his interviews from the last 2 years are now sourced in this system. And Corey Endrelot, his End of Slavery program, we've incorporated all those interviews. I think that was 50-something as well. And we are working on, let me check the screen. We are still, oh my goodness. We are still working on the 250,000 books that I mentioned in the previous update. So as soon as those books are all processed, we'll get those into the indexing, and then we've got, of course, millions of other documents in the pipeline as well, because, that's what we do. I gather the world's information, the knowledge of humanity, every science paper ever published in every language, and other books, and I bring it together in alignment with our pro-human, pro-truth, pro-sustainability worldview, and then I build AI engines around that, and then build applications like the book creation engine to help you create books on these topics. And you'll notice, by the way, that the book titles, if you go to books.brightlearn.ai, the book titles are extraordinary. I mean, this should be called like the hidden treasure bookstore. If you even ever found a bookstore like this in the real world, you walked in, you saw all the books on the shelf that we have at books.brightlearn.ai, you'd be astonished. Like, oh my God, this is the best bookstore ever. We have 441 books now, and they're all free. You can download, you can read them, you can share them. They're all completely free, and we're just getting started. Soon there will be thousands of books, and the topics are just incredible. Like here's one that just got rendered. Red, White, and Blue Pill. 13 things most Americans believe but shouldn't. Yeah, very cool, right? Here's a book, Blackout Battery Rescue, Do-It-Yourself Lead Acid Repair, and Solar Survival for Prolonged Outages. See, this is a very practical book, right? Let's see. Hustle Smart. This one was created by my friend Dan Golka. It's called 20 Side Gigs to Start Today. No money, no problem. $0 to start these. So that's called Hustle Smart. Here's one called Hydroponic Harvest, the ultimate DIY guide to soil-free gardening from seed to table. I mean, it just goes on. The Quiet Revolution, a practical guide to building low-energy nuclear reactors. That's cold fusion. Here's a book that I should have written, but I didn't. It was written by Rocky Choi. It's called Flavor Without Harm, the ultimate guide to exciting, excitotoxin-free eating for vibrant health. Okay, and it just goes on and on. All these are available. And these are the kind of books that just really represent the top tier of intelligence and awareness in society. And you would not find these books, not from a typical publisher or a typical bookstore, you know. You'd have to find some edgy bookstore somewhere, and they wouldn't even have all these titles. But we've got them free of charge. Now, The Architect, which is a great name for this planning layer that we put in place. It's The Architect, like out of the Matrix, you know. So The Architect, I unleashed The Architect to replan every book that we've published so far. Even though the vast majority of them, like 400 plus, were not written with The Architect, but I went ahead and had The Architect create a new plan for every book using the existing table of contents, you know, the chapters and the subchapters that already exist. And so that's actually done. So The Architect has a new plan for every book. And over the next week or so, depending on sort of my schedule and how well it goes, I'm going to have every book rewritten or augmented with the architectural plan, plus all the new research that we put in over the last couple of weeks. So the books that are there right now, I call version 1. The new books, starting yesterday or Saturday night, are version 2 books. And we're going to upgrade all the version 1 books to version 2 books. So if you use our engine and you created a book, that book's going to get upgraded automatically using The Architect. And you don't have to do anything to make that happen. By the way, it just happens automatically. And, you know, it's not going to change your prompt. It's not going to change the table of contents. It's just going to create better subchapters with more research and more continuity with better planning. So you'll be able to, you know, check that out as those are regenerated. And we've made a lot of other improvements as well along the way. And once we get these 250,000 books processed, well, then we're probably going to regenerate the subchapters again because we're going to have so much more research available. The other thing we've done is this has greatly improved loading speed of the site for all the users. Is we've created thumbnails for all the books instead of showing the full resolution book image all the time when people are navigating the site. It shows we've got images of different sizes for the book, which makes sense, you know, sort of book cover cards or thumbnails. And so it just shows the correct images at the correct time. And this is saving bandwidth for us and for you. And it's also causing pages to load much faster, which is great. So all good. I haven't generated any new audio over the weekend because I was working on The Architect, and that was successful. But we have a lot of new features coming. And of course, those features include first multilingual versions of each book. we are going to have Spanish first and then other languages. And it's not going to be for every book. I think, well, there's a couple ways we're going to do it. First, we're going to translate the English books into Spanish and then other languages once they reach a certain point of readership. But then secondly, we want to allow Spanish speakers to generate their own books in Spanish originally. And then we would back translate those into English. And all of this, of course, is automated. So there's a lot of thinking and planning that goes into this. As I'm the engineer on this project, I'm the only human developer on this entire project. So I have to think a lot about data structures and processes and error handling and fallback and how to handle mistranslations or things like that. So those features are coming. And what I envision is that all the top books will be translated into maybe a dozen languages. And then beyond that, we'll have more audiobooks and then eventually full-length audiobooks available. So you can download the entire audiobook free of charge. And then sometime next year, we'll have mini documentary videos auto-created. And there have been, it's interesting, a couple of video creation engines, including Kling is one of them. Kling.ai. They just announced some new avatar capabilities that we might use, but this is going to take a lot of experimentation. So don't expect that until well into 2026. And then I'm hoping that by 2027, we'll have full-length documentaries, like 90-minute feature films based on the books, completely automated. The script is completely written by our AI engine and all the videos created by AI, but it looks good and it sounds good and it's compelling. And that's our goal, is to provide all this content in many different formats. So let's see, what else did we do? Oh yeah, we added multiple chapter length, or how many chapters you want, multiple options there. So now you can choose from 5 chapters to 9 chapters, which is considered a medium book. It's actually a pretty good sized book. 14 chapters, or if you want to go all out, 20 chapters, which is usually overkill. And that often results in almost 200 sub-chapters, as you can imagine. And you'll end up with like 250 pages of a PDF file or something like that. So, keep that in mind. You don't want to overdo it. For a lot of topics, if you just want an overview, 5 chapters is great. And I might offer shorter, maybe a 3-chapter overview type of thing. I might remove the 20-chapter option because it's just too much. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. In the meantime, use the engine if you've got tokens and see what you think, because it's the best ever and it's going to keep getting even better. Okay, so I think that's it for the update today. A lot more features and updates coming over the next few weeks. Usually every time I get a holiday or a weekend, then I'm vibe coding this thing and I'm having a blast with it. So thank you for all your participation and support. Together, we are empowering the world. We're reaching people with decentralized knowledge that would otherwise be banned or censored. And we're reaching people for free, which is going to help reach a lot of marginalized communities, people in lower income strata all over the world, especially as we move into multiple languages. And this is our goal. We are bypassing Google. We're bypassing Facebook censorship. We're bypassing government censorship. We're bypassing, like the UK and the EU. They've gone insane over censorship now. They can throw you in jail if your tweet made somebody uncomfortable. Can you believe that? What a bunch of tyrants, authoritarian lunatics running the European countries right now. So we're bypassing all that nonsense and we're just giving out free books, What are they going to do? Burn the books? Well, yeah, probably. I'm sure they'll try that, Fahrenheit 451 and all of that. I'm sure they'll give it a shot, but they're not going to be successful because thanks to your support, we can continue to fund this. We can make this completely non-profit, non-commercial, completely ad-free. Have you noticed there are no ads on the site or in the books? Isn't that great? The books don't have ads. Don't you hate all those pop-ups in your face? Don't you hate all the interruptions? Don't you hate autoplay videos? Who does that? Books should be books. You just read the text, you turn the page. It's a book. It shouldn't be interrupting you with videos and banner ads and pop-ups and blah, blah, blah. So I love books, as you can tell, and I've collected some older books too. I'm not a book collector, I wouldn't say that, but I've purchased some very interesting reprints of historical books. One of them about astronomy, for example. But I love books, and so I consider it to be a moral obligation to honor what a book is supposed to be and not pollute it with a bunch of ads and garbage. That's why I'm really dedicated to making these books the best they can be based on your prompt and your instructions. And this engine, by far, this is the best engine in the world that does this. There's nothing even close. So definitely check it out. Go to books.brightlearn.ai in order to see all the books that we have available. And, I forgot to tell you, coming up soon, we will have, and this will be before Christmas, we'll have the ability for you to download entire categories of all the books in that category. So, for example, if you want to download all the books in technology, I'm clicking on that right now. It's currently 51 books. You can, that's weird. It's got the hydroponic book is under technology for some reason. Whatever. Or if you go to the self-reliance category, there's 52 books. So what you can do there, coming up soon, you'll be able to just click a download link and you'll get a download to a zip file containing all those books. And again, that's also free, obviously. So you'll be able to download all the categories, and my intention is to help you build a digital library. And then what you can do for Christmas, and I promise you I'll have this done before Christmas, barring some, horrible catastrophe or something. But my plan is to have this done for you before Christmas. So what you could do, you could give somebody the ultimate Christmas gift of a thumb drive with, let's say, 1,000 books on it, and 1,000 books that kick ass from BrightLearn.ai. Okay. How cool would that be, huh? How cool would that be? And we'll give you the books both in PDF and in HTML format, so people can read them in a browser or in a PDF reader or whatever. So that's coming. My commitment is to do that before Christmas. I want you to have this so you can literally give this gift to people. And how cool is that? All you have to do is buy the thumb drive from, Amazon or wherever. You can buy thumb drives for like $4 that will hold, all these books and more. Think about it. For $4, you can have a gift that, it's essentially free, that you give somebody, hey, here's 1,000 books. Amazing knowledge, right, on this. And, people, their jaws will drop. They're like, I don't know what to say. Whoa, what are these books about? Well, I'm glad you asked, start describing all these amazing books, So, wow, here's one called, this is a book about me, and I didn't even write it. It's called Unsilenced, The Health Ranger's Journey Through Censorship, Resilience, and the Fight for Truth. And it's written by Health Deputy. And I'm not sure who that is, but whoever you are, thanks for putting that together. I'll check it out. That's really interesting. It has been a journey. And actually, this is part of the journey, is this engine to bypass the censors and tell them all to go pound sand while we create knowledge for humanity, and give it away for free. That's what this is all about. So keep on using the engine, keep on sharing the news, and I think you'll be incredibly thrilled. Thank you for all your support. If you do want to support our corporate sponsor on this project, currently our corporate sponsor is healthrangerstore.com that donates the compute for these books to be created. If you are a corporation and you want to donate compute, please contact us, because obviously we welcome additional corporate sponsors. The thing is, there's no ads. So it's not like you're going to get ad space. It just doesn't work that way. You're just going to have to, if you want to donate to it, you're just going to have to be happy with the fact that you made a donation, and we'll mention that. Obviously, we'll mention that you're helping to support the project, but you're not going to get ad space from it. We don't either, because you heard what I just said about that. So anyway, thank you for all your support, and I'll have more updates for you as we have more features. Take care.
Stock up on the long-term storable Ranger Bucket Set. 536 servings of clean organic superfoods for your survival pantry. Certified organic and lab tested for purity. Order now at healthrangerstore.com.